Hi, I'm Shaggy. I'm Philaletea. You may or may not know, but I'm reading Martin Luther, his book titled The Bondage of the Will. It's the first book. The first chapter is a letter, kind of, to Erasmus, commenting on one of his books. And it's not nice. And one of the things that Martin Luther has got himself into is he's decided that announcements, that assertions, are the way that one needs to live as a Christian. That you need to make pronouncements of faith, and then you need to live as though you think those things are true. Now, he died in the 1500s, so at that time, he's probably right. In fact, he might be right now, because many of his assumptions are just wrong. And so as he goes through making his assumptions, he makes the argument very early that no pronouncement or assertion made is an assertion made unless it's also been proven. And now he's using the mathematical philosophical proof, and what he means is to the satisfaction of the writer. Because we're talking about a 16th, we're talking about a 15th, we're talking about really a 7th century BC. We're talking about very, very ancient, even to his time, metrics of truth. They had very, very, very wider tolerances to what could be held to be true before the 20th century. Splitting the atom as spectacularly as the United States did it, it makes your tolerances for truth, atomic. Subatomic, really. If you're going to make big claims, big assertions about the universe, you need to have those assertions work at the quantum level as well as the cosmic level. That's why cosmology has fallen entirely out of favor among big thinkers. But I guess Martin Luther and this guy Erasmus had a big argument about free will, where Erasmus took my position, frankly, that free will is a thing. And so Martin Luther is taking the con that free will isn't a thing. He's trying to argue that the universe is determined, but that God actually didn't predetermine it with the creation of the universe. That actually God determines it in a moment-to-moment basis capriciously, which is a difficult and uncomfortable theological ground to try to explain to a mother who's lost her child. If what you're trying to do is proselytize, but by the mid-1500s, Martin Luther doesn't need to proselytize. He already says it. He says it in this book. If you don't identify as a Christian in Europe by this time in the world, you're behind every single nation that's not European in understanding that religion is the most important thing in a modern nation state of the 16th century. It's not about convincing anybody. It's about telling them what sights to aim at or down.